So you heard about what the potential hazards of food. You heard about making it safe. If you've taken our class, you know how to make it safe. You know, you're going to learn later how to upscale with Karen at the Maui Food Innovation Center. But right now, you're going to learn how to get your products sold and in the store shelves. And Rourke, where's Rourke? Rourke, oh, he's hiding behind the post. So Rourke, no, I mean, this is, you got to talk to him because he has a lot of products to go into KTA when he can make more than 6 at a time.
Wow, you know, there was a...
I'm going to give you one, but I'm not going to kiss you, so...
Oh, please don't. Please don't.
Wow, that was all cleared up. So.
Well, you know, that was a very interesting morning. I've learned a lot, and you know, I'm born and raised in a sugar plantation of Pakalao, and it was kind of interesting because, like, you know, living in a sugar plantation, we lived off the land, right? We could live off the land. We took only what we wanted. Oh, so you're the tech man?
He's the troublemaker more than me. They got him.
Okay, perfect. I thought I talked kind of loud.
You do it.
Okay.
This will help.
So we lived off the land, but we most so did not waste food. And you know, as I heard all you folks this morning, and you know, we used to live our food. You know, we don't want to throw any, even moldy bread or whatever. We used to eat it. And we used to get a little sick, but we thought it was a cold. We never knew it was food poison or whatever it is. It's a cold, you gotta be careful. You might catch it here and there. But you know, we shared our food with our neighbors, and more so, you know, when we had a lot, you know, we always learned how to, my parents learned how to can and bottle things. And sometimes we would find mold in it, but we didn't care. We thought, it's pickled, so you just move it over and you eat it. And again, we get sick, but we just thought it was a flu. But, you know, food waste, the thing that was really bad, it was picked up by our pig farmers. We call them Buta Cow Cow Man. You guys know the Buta Cow Cow Man, that's what we used to call it. And they would pick up the food, feed the pigs, right? So that was like the last resort, but we didn't waste any food. You know, this is my 57th year working for KTA, and I started as a part-time employee at Hilo High School and going to Hilo High School and paid my way through college, and I graduated from CTAR. But you know, working for KTA became a very, very, very valuable situation because I started to learn that a lot of farmers could farm, but they didn't know how to sell their product. When John Doe raised ginger and everybody made money, everybody raised ginger and everybody lost money. And I think it's the same thing as people value-added stuff, making products, tastes very good and everything else, but they didn't know how to sell it, you know. And that always stuck within me. So I had a university agriculture graduate degree, and plus I experience working in a supermarket. You know, I am employee number 11. And you know what's so amazing, right? Working 57 years, now the employee number is up to 13,000. Oh, you know, but I always thank all my past employees that I worked with for so long, and also the suppliers. I'm always so grateful for the suppliers. And, you know, a lot of them is gone today, but you know, first generation, second generation. But you know, they are my real heroes, and at KTA, I work really hard and still work hard just for every one of them. About 40 years ago, when I became the executive vice president of KTA, I didn't know what my job was about because we didn't have a vice president at KTA. So I sat outside the store, sat on the bench, wondered what my job was, and boom, after 6 hours, I realized what it was about. You know, I looked at customers coming into the store, they're smiling, coming out kind of upset. I children holding the mom's dress and wants candy and this and that. The man is in the car just perspiring, and their wives in the store talking stories with their friends. I thought to myself, wow, I got it. You know, my job was actually solving people's problems. You know, people all had a problem. That's the reason why they came shopping. What am I going to cook for my husband tonight? What I'm going to cook for my son that's going to excursion tomorrow? You know, what I'm going to bring to my sister's house? They're having a party. They have a problem. My job was to solve their problems. If they cannot solve their problem, they would have to change their plans, or they're going to go to my competitor and they will not come back because they might be much better than we are. So, I always say to people, we need to know the purpose of our job. You think about it, whether you're an inspector, a doctor, a farmer, a manufacturer, a professor, or whatever it is, your job is always to solve someone's problems. Understanding the purpose of my job, I go out of my way to help all local people, organizations, and businesses. This influenced the creation of KTA Mountain Apple brand. During the fall of the sugar industry, and an economic disaster was about to happen. And prior to that, Tony Taniguchi, my former boss, told me, Derek, when the sugar industry ever goes under, it becomes your responsibility to go help all the sugar plantation workers because you are from the sugar industry and nobody else. So I didn't think anything about it. Then he passes away. Then all of a sudden I realized I got this major obligation. I got to go out and help him. So 30 years ago, I needed to do something, but I learned about this Japanese word, which means crisis. It's called kiki. The Japanese word is called kiki. The first symbol over here means danger, but the second symbol means opportunity. And from that time on, I realized whenever there's a crisis, there's dangers, but there's always an opportunity. You gotta find the opportunity to turn things around. So I attended a lot of these gatherings where, you know, with displaced workers and everything else, people had hundreds of thousands of dollars of federal grants and money and everything to give out. And I went there just with a handshake. I went there just with a handshake with a sincere desire to help them. And I told each one of them, you know, why don't you become an entrepreneur? Why don't you become a Mountain Apple brand vendor? And I also went at that time to a lot of big companies to help them so that they're able to hire some of the plantation workers. You know, we created many new businesses and helped many existing local business. But most of all, KTA started to focus on local. Not only local food products, but people, businesses, and organizations. Kiki, when there's a crisis, there's always an opportunity. Today we have about 25 different business partners and about 225 products. Every product is locally grown or manufactured, creating jobs on our island. You know, after we got the farms all situated and worked with the farmers, we started to focus on creating value-added products instead of commodity products, utilizing all of their off-grades and surplus of fresh agriculture products. I felt that was very, very necessary because, you know, me growing up in a plantation, we don't waste anything, right? And I saw all these waste around, so I made it a point to try to make sure that we could utilize everything. Plus value-added products, how good it is, right? It stores for months and it can be shipped all over the place. So, you know, it became a very important part of Mountain Apple brand. As an example, it's not just sweet bread, right? I have Mountain Apple brand macadamia sweet bread using some kind of, you know, local agriculture product in it. I have Mountain Apple brand, I brought here coconut sweet bread. You try to toast this, whoo! It's gonna like blow your mind. It tastes so awesome, okay? By the way, you guys better not leave because I'm giving this away for prizes. Oh, yeah, you smart. Okay, so you know we also have jams and jellies. You know my jelly person, several of them, they retired, but now I got two new ones that they're doing it for me.
We're gonna be number 3 then.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, one of the things that I'm really, really conscious about, no two vendors makes the same thing. You know, because like I said, with agriculture, if somebody raises ginger, everybody raises ginger, everybody loses money, right? So I always look for stuff that, you know, people can make that's totally different, right? So I have 2 jellies. I mean, here, I just brought some little called jalapeno preserve, chili pepper jelly, right? 2 different companies, right? You know, and of course we got guava and all that boring stuff, but it is what it is, right? But, you know, it could be, always try to get something with a twist on it, right? Something different. And so we have preserves, right? We also started many new business. Like I had this Mrs. Harada. She was a hairdresser. She was a very, very really a successful hairdresser. Then all of a sudden, her daughters like that needed babysitters. So she came to me and said, "Oh, Derek, I need to watch my grandchildren. So I need to do something that's so different." So she converted her beauty shop into a mochi operation. And it's kind of interesting because she makes me all these different mochi, and she had a hard time doing stuff that was different. So I convinced her to do this peanut butter mochi, a chunky peanut butter mochi. And here you go. Peanut butter mochi. Wow. You know, you eat this and you go, wow. You know, you'll be all smiling the whole day. And the amazing thing about it.
And you only brought 1 of them.
Yeah. Man, we're gonna have to junk and pull over here. Unless I can give 5.
Or we could send Mark down to the store to get a few more.
Oh, that's right. But you know, the thing about it is that, like, what is really, really exciting about it, right? Now she's in the early age and she likes to go Vegas, right? And she's telling me, "Derek, it's time to retire," right? And she was telling me this about 3 or 4 years ago. But her grandson that she had to babysit, all of a sudden graduated from University of Hawaii with a business degree, and now he's taking over the business. And you know, you should see how happy she is, you know? And this is some problems with, I think, a lot of small businesses, right? After you're ready to retire, who's going to take over? You know? And this boy here, so she told me, "Can you talk to him?" So I talked to him. So why you want to continue the mochi? So she got to carry the legacy of her grandmother. And wow, you know what? That is like incredible, right? So I know he's going to do well. I support him. In fact, now the grandma said, "Oh, he does more business now than she ever did before." So, you know, that's really good. You know, we help existing business. During the pandemic, many restaurants and flower shops are ready to close. So we started our pop-up restaurants in our store. Today we have 7 restaurants and a florist retailing products in KTA. So, you know, for me, it's really important what KTA is about. It's not just a supermarket, you know. We out here to go help the community. And, you know, I give you an example. She makes, you know, Nori's was a kind of like famous restaurant, Simon and everything else, but during the pandemic, nobody would go out and eat. So now she retails everything at KTA. So I brought this thing here, Nori's exclusive special edition, Mango Mui. Ooh, yeah, so this is like a really good stuff, you know. But, you know, I have, as I said, 7 other restaurants making things for me. And a lot of them close the door, they only do takeout, and they retail or wholesale in KTA. But you know what? It's a win-win situation. It helps me out too. During COVID, I couldn't find workers, and it became a win-win situation. Again, Tiki, when there's a danger, there's always opportunities. Yeah. There are, you know, all of these shops are all doing well. And yes, Mountain Apple brand products are different, and every product has a story and lesson. I brought you some of them. Back in 2016, the Hawaii National Park Centennial was also the same as KTA. So, you know, they came to me and said, oh, Derek, can you do something to celebrate the centennial? So I came up with this thing called Mountain Apple brand lava cookie, lava, you know. So I have coffee lava, I have taro nut lava, I have passion lava, red hot lava. You know, I have 5 different flavors, right? And the thing that sells the most during Valentine's is passion lava and red hot lava, you know? But it's really interesting. So I use that as some lesson, and I tell the young ones, you know, people have different wants and needs. I got 5 different flavors, and we need to respect the differences of others, and it is okay to be different. Then, since my son left for college, my wife refused to have me buy hot dog or hamburger buns because we end up throwing them away or waste. And you know, sometimes I get like 10 hot dog and 8 buns, and you know, that thing just doesn't go together, right? So I cannot be eating hot dog on plain bread with all the bread there. It's not good, right? So I thought to myself, wow, Derek, you got to come up with something. So here I have Mountain Apple brand, any kind bread. You want hot dog, you cut them this way. You want hamburger, you cut them this way. You want rolls, you cut them that way. This kind, that kind, any kind, right? Any kind bread. It sells a lot. It sells well. Especially after I have conferences like this and I talk to them about that, they'll go there and buy them. But you know, there's a lesson to that. Turning waste into value, you know. Waste adds cost to the bottom line. Look at the landfill problem. We don't know even what to do with our waste. At KTA, our cardboards and plastic wrapping gets sent back to the mainland. Our cooking oil gets picked up by Pacific Biodiesel. Our discarded fruits gets donated to the zoo. And our food waste all goes to the piggery. Now, this is like the ultimate situation. I give the food waste to the piggery, and I buy back the pig. Value added. Give them free, buy back the pig. Can you imagine that? Huh? But you know, that's what you say, you know, adding waste to value. Adding waste to value. We have also a lot of amazing products created by employees because they want to share their homemade recipes, so they are able to share with others. So one of the bigger sellers now is this date bars. You know, this was a really a recipe from a family that she really wanted to share this and make sure everybody have it, and people really like it. You know, if you like brownies, it's okay, you know, but this here, it is like the ultimate dessert, right? And it's super good. So, Mountain Apple brand, you know, with Mountain Apple brand, today, you know, this whole philosophy of local. 95% of all our leafy vegetable is local. 80% of our bananas, 100% of our pineapples and papayas, 55 to 60% of our beef is all local, and 100% of our milk is all locally grown. You know, until recently, we're the only milk in the state that, you know, was 100% local. Now we have an excess of milk, so the milk is also under the Medical label, some of the excess. But you know what is really interesting? At one time, there was 50 dairies in the state of Hawaii. And it only came down to one. And then one dairy was suffering so much that I had to buy their feed. I bought their feed, put in money to help with the Kohala ditch so that they could get money and feed the cattle. But at that point, it was so important to me that we kept the dairy industry. You know, we utilize all dairy cows and booths and everything else for a hamburger. I never bought 1 pound of meat from New Zealand or whatever it is to grinding meat. I use local. Because I know utilizing local dairy cows helped the dairy industry to survive and also, kept the meat here on the island. Due to our mainly competition, we have another private label called 1916, and these are all good products from outside of Hawaii. But people know that in 1916 is when our company was founded. We also have 2 television programs promoting positive events, positive people, promoting a lot of businesses. Even they're my competitors. I go out there and promote their business. To me it's very important because, we're all in this together, right? So I help promote their business and they shop at KTA, right? Their family shops at KTA. So the show has become very, very important to us because it becomes very, very important to the island. So we have a senior show that runs for an hour. And we have a family show that runs for it runs twice a day, so it runs for the whole month. So somebody got to see it, right? So even some of your businesses or whatever you guys want to do, I mean, if you can give me a call and we can schedule something, I'll definitely put it on the air. To me that's really important. It also airs on YouTube, and by going KTA, or you can go on KTA website. We digitize the old programs so it can be viewed for generations to come. And I go and tell the seniors, it's so important. Everything's on Google Cloud. So you are a senior now, you're here eating my food, I'm feeding you lunch and all that. But you know what? You're going to be alive for generations to come. You're going to be on the cloud. So your great-great-great-great-grandchildren are going to say, oh, this is how my grandma looked like. I look, she had false teeth, and blah, 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 blah. But more so, I tell the children, I go to a lot of schools too, right? Young ones, sing with them, do all kinds of, crazy stuff to make them. The teacher goes nuts with me. But, I tell them, you know what? One day you become a grandma. And they're gonna see your grandchildren are gonna see you singing or talking stuff, and they're really super behaved. They go all out and do a great performance, But that's the important about the media nowadays. You put it on the cloud, people live forever, right? And I think that's really important. Seeing husbands shopping, lost. They're lost. They don't even know how to push the cart. And the sad thing about it, that, sometimes their wives are sick, or their wife passed away, and they're hopeless. They don't know how to cook. So I created this Instagram program. It plays on Instagram, YouTube. It calls Every Man Should Know How to Cook. Yeah? And this whole thing is called A Man in a Pan. I cook everything in a frying pan. Everything I do, all in a frying pan. I try to make it easy. 3 or 4 ingredients, right?
More easy.
And when I taste it, sometimes it might not taste good, but I make like it's good, right? But it's kind of interesting. I believe every man should know how to cook, So I have the Instagram going now with, and I got a lot of followers. But I want to end my speech. I think I kind of talked too loud here. I brought 2 products here. Okay? I brought a Spam and a Levy's Lunch and Meat. So if both of these sold for $3, which one would you buy? Spam. $3 or $2.50, which one would you buy? Spam. If we're products on the shelf, wouldn't you want to be a Spam instead of plain old Levy's Lunch and Meat? But this is what people want and willing to pay more for. Incredible, right?
Bury 'em and catch 'em anyhow.
Yeah, and we don't call it, oh, give me what Levy's Lunch and Meat musubi. We say Spam musubi. Oh, give me Levy's Lunch and Meat, eggs and rice. We want Spam, eggs and rice. Whatever you do, you want to be the Spam that people want and willing to pay more for. Not just some plain old lunch and meat. KTA is a brand. I'm a brand. You're all a brand. Your family's a brand. Your business is a brand. Hawaii is a brand. just like a can of Spam. So why would anyone purchase a shoes for $125 with a swoosh instead of $25 without a swoosh? Is a swoosh worth $100? Isn't it because a brand you know, you trust, has a swoosh? Each and every one of you contributes to the Hawaii brand. Each and every one of you, whether you're a manufacturer, whatever you do, just like everything that creates this can of Spam. So let us all work and build your brand. Build your brand, build the organizational brand, all that you all belong to. You do well, the organization does well, and it paves the ways for others to follow. You do well, it paves the way for agriculture and all value-added products in Hawaii. The Hawaii brand is the ultimate brand, and we should all work together to create it. So good luck and best wishes, and thank you all. Thank you, and beat a Spam. Okay, I got all these gifts here. I don't know how I'm going to give it out, but whose birthday is today? Whose birthday is closest to today?
Yesterday.
Oh, yesterday's birthday. Who else is born in October? Tomorrow, okay. Yesterday and tomorrow. Come up here. Yesterday and tomorrow. Okay. Come yesterday and tomorrow. Now, you guys can beef on how you're going to break this up, but everybody can have half of this, okay? But more so, I want you guys to turn around, right? What's your name? Roberta and Lily. We're going to sing happy birthday to them. Okay? Okay, here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear. Happy birthday to you. Yay! Now, you guys can like one take one, other take one take one. So you know, you guys don't fight up there, okay? Hey, this is your birthday present. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the question I have is actually for you to put on your PTA hat. Not that, no. And for those of us who are, the law has changed, the DOH laws have changed now that we are allowed to go into retail stores, which KTA is part of. What are your, and without a verification, which for some of us that we had great goods make no sense to me, which is don't let me as well as my fingers as well. So, but I guess the question would be, what are you looking for in terms of quality, quantity? A lot of us are doing locally grown as much as we can. There's sometimes we can't do, and locally grown means made in Hawaii, at least 95% of the products that we use. So that's really, I mean, it's a big question, but really, what is it? What are you looking for, and what does it take to get there? I'm a small producer, or works in jellies and jams.
Well,
Wait, Derek, can you repeat it for the camera, the question? Just repeat
Oh.
your question.
oh, that's a long question. Oh, hey, you know, I'm a C student.
You can do it. No, this is-
No, she just wanted, I guess to make it simple, that she kind of wanted to know how to get into KTA and, you know, all so that's the bottom line. So, you know, it's kind of like a real good question, because, you know, for me, the first criteria is that if I have a guava jelly, I'm not going to have another person with a guava jelly. I said, you know, nobody competes with each other, you know. It's like how I got to 95% of my leafy vegetable is all local, is that when John Doe brought me beans and I promised him that I was going to pay $1 a pound, and I pay him $1 a pound. Guys would come in with 50 cents a pound. I wouldn't buy it. I would buy the $1 a pound beans, because that's how he knows how he can make money. And that's the problem with business, right? You know, when somebody makes money, somebody does good, does well, everybody wants to jump in, and everybody starts losing money. So the Mountain Apple brand, I have one vendor making me one product. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, food safety becomes a real important part of it. You know, and you know what I used to do before, and that's the reason why I have gout, hemorrhoids, and all kinds of stuff. I used to be the lab. You know, when I was young and aggressive, you know, people used to give me stuff. I used to eat it. I used to eat everything. And man, I got sick and all that kind of stuff. But that time we didn't have all those fancy equipment and all the things to do all the testing. But I was the lab, and there were several vendors that was kind of borderline. So I said, okay, can you come back 3 days from now? I'll grab the stick. I put it in my car trunk for 3 days. 3 days. Then when he'll come, I'll go to my car trunk, open it, say, oh, you have this all in? Yeah. So I said, oh, maybe we can taste it now, right? And he go, oh, I don't know. So automatically I know the thing is like, you know. But these are like old days. Nowadays it's more scientific, you know. I gotta make sure they get border health clearance. I mean, they have all these inspection and, you know, everything else. You know, that becomes really important, right?
Take our class and you would know that we follow, you know, a little more strict than they have to do nationally just because we have things like rat lungworm and so
Yeah.
you know, so we take it, yeah, it's a little tougher to get through. Nobody wants to be the typhoid Mary and make people sick, right?
Oh, definitely.
So we want our people to be able to bring you the best quality, that is the safest possible product that they can make. And we got so many weird fruit, you would never duplicate them. So
Well, you know, that's really a good point because.
go look what Rourke has later, like Gorka, you know Gorka? Yellow mangosteen,
Nah.
Bolivian
Yeah,
mangosteen.
answer the question. So people are gonna bring stuff in. So you got food safety, you got something different.
Yeah, and I got, this is another thing where I'm different from everybody else, all the other markets. I work with the vendors, so, you know, if the vendor comes in and tells me, Derek, I gotta go to Disneyland and take my kids, I say, go. As long as you let us know, I put a sign there, you know, they'll come back in 2 weeks or whatever it is, you know. Because for me, the family and everything else is so important. And I think this is a problem with a lot of the small, young, small businesses. You know, they gotta take off and you know, they cannot make the kind of skills. So as long as people know, like let's say a good example here is Kelly Boy cookies. Everybody goes crazy for it, but you cannot find it on the shelf because they're only husband and wife and brother-in-law. So they make enough to put on the shelf. But you know what? I tell them, you don't have any, you don't have any. You know, that's what it is, right? You know, and people get to understand it. You know, we have a sign there telling what days they'll come and bring it and everything else. But that's the only way that you can make something happen, right? You know, a big operation would never allow that, but we do. You know, as long as we communicate and we know, and that's the way a small business can grow. And all of a sudden, you bring 10 bottles of jams or whatever it is, and next thing you know, it sells out. The next batch, you can make 20 or 30 or 40, and you grow with it. And 40 is the most you can make, and that's it. Or you can stop there, and we all know, you know, it's 40, but people will know when you bring the thing in. So that's how we operate, right? You know, and I hate to have shelves empty, so, you know, we usually would camouflage it with something and put a sign there, you know, we'll be back next month or whatever it is. And again, you know, like that jam or jelly maker, let's say he starts off with a guava jam, and he starts doing well, and all of a sudden he wants to make more, but you know, all of a sudden demand is not there. So I'll tell him, hey, why don't you make something else? So they'll make these other things, right? So that's kind of interesting. Right now, at one point I had this honey guy. He passed away, but he used to make me honey. So what happened was, I had him make macadamia honey, lehua honey, avocado honey, all these different kind of honey, and we sold it differently as a brand, and I gave a premium price. It's not just a generic commodity honey that everybody have. So that's what marketing is about, right? You gotta find a reason why your stuff is different from everybody else's. And my TV show also helps that. It kind of tells a story. Yeah, that's a good question.
I have a comment.
Yes.
Okay, so I started working at the department in 2007. He just, he just mentioned that the KT started in 1916,
Yes.
right? Okay, so 2008 FISMA, President Obama comes in and says Food Safety Modernization Act. Sharon Hurd's in the Department of Agriculture. I'm out there telling everybody, hey, food safety, food safety. I talked to Derek. I didn't know Derek. And he said, I still go buy from my farmers. I said, well, what about the Food Safety Modernization Act? Everybody should be food safety certified because of the liability. And he says, hey, nobody got sick yet.
A lot of the farm. Yeah. But you remember that? Oh, that's dangerous. No, but
This guy's different.
but
I told her that back then. Oh, Derek's right. You buy it from the same farmer for 19
Yeah.
years already.
I'll buy something there is safer than something imported because they know they're feeding their friends and families. They wouldn't make their friends and families sick, coming to shop, right? So I had trust them a little bit more than bringing stuff from outside, because I knew them, it's a relationship, right? And they know they're selling to their brothers, sisters, and their family. They don't want them to get sick. Oh yes, ma'am.
Quick question, how many Mountain Apple products are there?
Right now about 220 something, but it's seasonal, right? Jam, jellies, everything is seasonal.
Is there a list anymore?
Wow, that's a hard question. Yeah, we have a itemized list at the store. It's all in a computer. Yeah.
It's on mine too. You can go to PTA, that's look it up.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you work for all the KTAs?
I'm the executive vice president. So I take care of all the stores.
Because our KTA is nothing like this single KTA.
That's the conversation I had yesterday with with all the store managers. And I've been telling them that every store we have a different size, a different situation, and it's about time that a store manager of a store start understanding the customers a little better and kind of focus to the customer a little better. Like any market, the easy way to run any kind of supermarket, whether it's Foodlands, Safeway, Times, or Target or Walmart, is a one-size-fits-all kind of situation. So when you go there, it's like cookie cutter, right? But they have the same size of store, same kind of situation, same shelf layout. And we are a local company. We cannot afford the luxury. So some stores are small, some stores are big, and so we have to kind of probably step it up. So like let's say one store down in Kona, maybe up by Kelikikua. There's a lot of Mexican. Maybe we gotta cater the store to a little bit more Mexican food in there, and maybe the Kailua store that has a lot of Japanese national now shopping there because we got Shionos. Maybe we gotta beef it up, or so things gotta change. This KTA at Puanaco, the size of the store is large, number one, so we can do many things. Number two, we have easier time finding employees in Hilo. It's really, really tough to find workers down in Kona, and we're gonna do many different things, but you cannot find employees. It's really hard. And I think number three, our warehouse, our distribution center, is right in next to our Puanaco store. So you're gonna find us to hardly run out of anything. Now, the good thing about that is that talking about distribution center, I think we have the most food in the whole island. In fact, maybe one of the most in the state per market. The reason why is because in the past when we grew up, when we started off, there was a lot of these shipping strikes and stuff like that. So people would come and haul the two most important things in life is rice and toilet paper to take care of both sides of your body, right? You know, and that's bad. But
It is.
but the thing about it is that we have to build a warehouse. We have to make sure in case there's a food problem or food shortage somewhere where we have the food. So in these past couple of shipping strikes, I'm really glad to say that we didn't run out of anything, you know, and it made me feel real proud about that because
Just told
that's
people
a,
plant tea leaf.
yeah, plant tea leaf. But you know we have a big warehouse. In fact, we have two big warehouses, and it costs us a lot of money to run it, millions of dollars of inventory all stocked there. But you know, for us, that's a commitment we made to the people of Hawaii. So you know, usually if there's any kind of supply problem, we probably would have it because we're the only one with two big warehouses. Plus, it became very important for me to promote agriculture so we could grow our fresh stuff here, you know. And that's a whole new game. All the fresh stuff, I promote it to make sure we get as much local products as possible. So I have fresh foods all in the store. And the milk dairy was one of those reasons why we even invested money to buy them feed and keep the thing alive because we need a fresh dairy. Because what if you've got a shipping strike or there's something going on, we wouldn't get food. So it's a matter of we being a little bit more food sustainable. The whole thought about it is that, you know, we're a state surrounded by water. And we're islands and counties surrounded by water, you know. So, you know, the thinking got to be a little different. To get something from the mainland, it takes us about 10 to 14 days, you know. So, you know, the thinking got to change, right? I mean, our philosophy is island mentality. Yes?
Going back to Jane's question and this other one here is, so if I have a product, do they take it to their local KTA store with the idea of trying to sell it, or do they go come see you about their product?
Well, we have the way our organization set up. We have head buyers, right? So our buyers are at the Quantico store, but also, you know, like produce kind of stuff like that. You know, you could go to the stores and they could go and contact the head buyer. But the thing about it is that, yeah, I had this conversation once with all of the food industry people. I wanted everybody to buy local. And so a question came out from a big supermarket local chain. You know, nobody can supply us. And I stood up and I said, you know what? If you had 30 stores and you get 30 different farmers, that's fine. You know, you have one farmer supply one store. You know, you don't have to get one farmer supply all of the stores. And that's what we do. We have several farmers supply all the stores. Or we have many small farmers that supply just one store. You know.
One thing, but you're doing a lot better now, even with the shortage of avocados, you're doing a lot better.
Oh, I get probably avocados.
I even said with Sharon before that, it used to be you put the imported Haas up front and our stuff was way in the back corner. Now that's changed, for the
Yeah.
most part. It's
Yeah.
gotten a lot better than
Yeah.
it was even 5 years ago.
You know what is kind of like interesting? I made it a point to our buyers that you know, we should try to stay away from Mexican product as much as possible. You know, and try to support more local products. You know, and I in fact I think I talked to our new dean and I said, you know, how come we cannot grow stuff in the off season when they can do it in Mexico, right? You know, why can't they grow stuff in off season? You know, they do it in Japan. They have greenhouses. They have this and that. So you know, that kind of stuff like kind of triggers in my mind. Goes, why do we have to bring in stuff from Mexico? You know, during the off season. Sorry, Sharon, I'm looking at you, but you know, but you know, there's opportunities right there, right? You know, if we do research and work it out, I mean, maybe something can come out
The
of
guy
it.
that invented all that Miyazaki mango and all of that, Dr. Yonemoto.
Oh, is that right?
That's right. So you gotta get the funding, hire him, make the greenhouse, show us how. He get 2 crops a year on mangoes, 2 crops a year in avocados. Almost everything, 2 or more
Oh, too
crops
good.
per year. Right? He's embarrassed, but.
He's embarrassed. You know, now, right now, I got mango in my kale store. Is that yours? Huh?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think you only buy local.
What, local? From Keo, from Kona, the guys told me. The mango's coming right now.
From Miyazaki.
Oh. Oh, I see.
We're not growing Irwin in Kona.
Oh. Okay. Oh, he's a smart guy. Eh? I met him at the Waiawa Inc. Value Added Center. I thought he was smart because he asked all kinds of smart questions at that session.
He's my ringer.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I just have one last comment. I know that the KTA stores are different, and you can explain that. But what we want to say is, thank you for keeping it Hawaiian. Thank you for keeping it local. You're probably, my understanding, one of the only family-run, local family-run stores that has been staying open for decades at this point. Lots of, we've seen around our neighborhoods, lots of mom and pop grocery stores have gone. So, as the executive EVP and also the owner of ATA, you know, I just want to congratulate you on our items as opposed to stores like Safeway,
Yeah.
which we all know, you know, doesn't carry logo and is extremely expensive. And the other competitor company is Food Plan, which I can say, which
Yeah, they don't count. Let's do it for KTA.
Nah. Well, thank you very much. And in fact, with your question, we just purchased a Takara store in Kohala. And the reason why we purchased this store, right, is because we wanted to keep all the employees and all of the suppliers and vendors the same. We didn't want to disrupt the whole community. In fact, what we wanted to do was go there and try to help their suppliers and see if they can sell the things to my other stores, you know. Yeah, I spent a lot of time recently just trying to help a Holy Bakery, you know. So they're starting to do really well, and they're making some other value-added products. So you know, I'm kind of looking for opportunities over there. Whatever way I can go there to help the community, I think it's what our company is all about. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, you can have that bag.